The next thing that we're going to move on to is the building and space type settings. Those can be found under the Manage tab, again, under the Settings panel. This time we're going to go to the MEP Settings button. We're going to select the down arrow next to that. We're going to go to that Building and Space Type Settings button at the bottom. This will launch the Building and Space Type Settings dialog box. Now, the difference between building types and space types: a building type is the occupancy of the building. It's what the building's function is as an overall, whether it's an office or a parking garage or a town hall or a dormitory or a gymnasium or a courthouse. The parameters that are over on the right-hand side define that overall building and the values that are associated with those parameters. In this case, we're going to go to the office building type, which is what our project's going to be. And over on the parameter side, you have a list of parameters underneath the energy analysis category. Revit has assigned a default value to each one of these parameters. However, each one of these parameters are editable. In this case, the office setting, we're going to change the lighting load density to 0.8, and we're going to change the load power density to 1.5. We're going to change our unoccupied cooling set point to 85 degrees. In our office is a 12-hour office, so we're going to change our open time to 6 a.m. Because it's a 6-hour office, we got to change our office lighting schedule and our occupancy schedule and our power schedule. So you select the little button next to that, and it comes up with a schedule settings dialog box. The schedule settings dialog box is completely editable. You can add new settings, you can duplicate the ones that are here, you can rename these. Because we have a 12-hour one and none of these match it, we're going to duplicate one of them. And how you do that is you just select it, come up here, select the duplicate button, and it creates a copy of it down here. So we can understand it better, we're just going to rename it to Office 12-hour. You're going to select OK. Though we've renamed this, none of the values over in the chart to the right has changed. Those are not related to the name of the schedule itself. We have to come in here and change each of these. So because it's a 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., we're going to change the 6 a.m. to 20% and the 7 a.m. to 20% as well. We're going to come over here and we're going to start working backwards. 9 p.m. is going to be 0%, 8 p.m. is going to be 0%, and 7 p.m. is going to remain at 10%. But 6 p.m. we're going to take to 95%. Once these are set, go ahead and hit OK and you come back. In order to affect the lighting and occupancy schedule, the lighting schedule or the occupancy schedule, you select the little gray button off to the side next to the value, and it comes up to that schedule settings dialog box again. If you notice, the office 12-hour is already in here. That's because the occupancy, we're going to set that office 12-hour to the lighting and power. The reason is because the occupancy schedule, the lighting schedule, and the power schedule all read off the same schedule settings dialog box. So we're going to go ahead and set all those to office 12 hours, and our building type's now set. Now we're going to move on to the space type. Under the space type, these are the different rooms that are within your building. Though it's an office, inside the office you have enclosed offices, you have open offices, you could have restrooms, you could have lobbies, you could have different room functions within that building. And this is where you set those. And each MEP space type has different requirements based on what it is. A restroom has different load density requirements compared to a enclosed office. So since we're dealing with an office, we're going to come down here and you can scroll down here and find what space types you need and edit them. It's just like in the building type. When you highlight it, you see underneath the energy analysis area the parameters that are editable and then the values that Revit defaults them to. In this case, we're going to change this lighting to 0.8. We're going to change the load power density. It's set to 1.5, which is, we're going to change it to 1.7. And then if you notice, we have an occupancy schedule, a lighting schedule, and a power schedule again. These are edited the same way as in the building type. If you notice, they also go to the same schedule settings because that office 12-hour is there again. So we're going to set our office enclosed to the office 12 hours along with the lighting and power schedules. And all three of these schedules, we're going to set to that. Now, you can only do these one at a time. And the other drawback that you run into is, unlike that schedule settings dialog box where everything's editable, you can add, you can duplicate, and you delete, Revit currently does not allow us to edit, rename, add, or delete any building types or space types. So what you see on the list is what you have to work with. Once you've edited what you need to edit, go ahead and select OK, and the building and your space type settings are set.